Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the sound system demo of the 2020 BMW X5 and its 16-speaker Harman Kardon surround sound system. We're going to take an in-depth look at the system, look at how the infotainment system works, system sample tracks, take a look at speaker locations, get out on the road, listen to those tracks while we're rolling. I'll give you my thoughts at the end. So before we get started, let's hop out and take a quick look at the car. This is the excellent BMW X5 40i xDrive. We really like having it around. It's a great all-arounder vehicle. If you want to see more on the X5, check out the links in the description for our highway fuel economy test, as well as our full review and a comparison between the X5 and the Genesis GV80. We always do these tests with uncompressed, lossless WAV audio files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high-quality binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio system experience possible. We also do the tests with the sound settings set to their factory defaults, so let's take a look at those now. Go over here in Media to Sound Settings, using the trackpad or the touchscreen. Side note, I really appreciate how easy iDrive is to use in BMWs. It's so nice to be able to always use the touchscreen, even when you're driving. Feels really good, doesn't show fingerprints too well, or you can just use this very well calibrated, nice feeling rotary knob. I find myself using both periodically depending on what I'm doing and what I'm doing in the car, both so like what I'm doing in the system and if I'm driving or if I'm stationary or whatever. It's nice to have the options for all of it. So anyway, you can see we have our Logic 7 surround enable and disable option. We have the surround, like how much surround is in the system, the treble, bass, and your standard front, rear, left, right, fader, and balance. And on top of all that, you also have a full-fledged equalizer right here. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 channels to adjust equalize. So you can just go max up the bass, turn everything way up if you want, treble, turn that down. Super responsive, super easy to use. And if you screw everything up, you can always just go back and reset, which is what we did. Equalizes everything out. Let's go through and sample a little bit more of that. We'll turn the Logic surround on and off. And you get the idea. I'm not going to go through every channel on the 9-channel equalizer, but you can really get some fine-tuning in there, which is good because this system sometimes needs that. For audio inputs in the X5, you have your standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, Bluetooth. You have Apple CarPlay, but no Android Auto, unfortunately. You do have USB-A and USB Type-C, so that's nice to see. And that is it. So what does that mean you're missing? Well, you don't have a 3.5mm auxiliary input jack, and you also don't have a disc player. Not the end of the world here in 2020, but it would be nice to see. To adjust volume, you can use the very nice rotary knob here. Good detents, nice feel. You also have up and down on the steering wheel. And you have BMW's gesture control, so you can put your finger up right here and go in a right turning clockwise motion to turn up and counterclockwise to turn down. It's half gimmicky, half useful. I find myself not using it too often, but you can use it. For track selection, same sort of deal. You've got physical buttons here. You could also select on the touchscreen or using the rotary knob, or you can go back and forth right here on the steering wheel, or use this rotary knob, and I'm not quite sure if you'll be able to see it, but on the head-up display I've got my track list. I can click on certain tracks. Or you can use the gesture control, so I can go like that to go to the next song, or go like that back to the previous song. So that's kind of nifty. Speaker locations. This is the 16 speaker system, rocking 464 max watts of output. A little confusing where all the speakers are, but we're going to do our best to pick out all of them. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Under the seat subwoofers, 7, 8. Into the second row. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Let's hop in the back real quick and listen to how it sounds. I should turn it up a little bit. It's a good bit more hollow back here. You definitely don't get the same bass as you do up there with the underseat subwoofers, but it's not too bad. Apple CarPlay demo. Bring out our trusty iPhone 7. And this phone has not been paired yet. So we're going to do this together and see how it goes. Boy, this is definitely the most cumbersome vehicle I've ever had to pair CarPlay. Usually you just plug it in and it works. Use CarPlay. Okay, that really wasn't awful. I just didn't know how to do it. Once you learned, you'd be fine. There we are. Look at that. It takes up the whole screen. That looks really nice. So it's only going to load a little bit of section of map that I have loaded. But you can see we've got our settings, very large, everything's super responsive. Go Apple Music, a little home screen there. All right, and then you can go back to home, do whatever you need to do. You can listen to that music, and then how do you get back? You go COM, phone in CarPlay. Cool, okay, so not too bad. All right, let's get on the road. Now this next song demonstrates a lot of an audio system's abilities to play complex music, a lot of different sounds all at once, and loud without being harsh. So let's see how the Harman Kardon system handles it. Amount of hollowness, especially from this track. I noticed it in other tracks as well, but this track really shows it off. There's a fine amount of crispness in bass, but it's almost as if the sound is exaggerated around those middle sounds. Let me see if we can pick them out. A lot of that cymbal, kind of that, those cymbal crashes, not in a high-end crisp way, but kind of more of a mid to high range, mid range. It's definitely nothing egregious. It's just not quite the crispness you get from the top systems, and I think is what you would get from the Bowers and Wilkins in this car. This next song, we'll turn the bass all the way up and see how it sounds. Bass here, and we'll also go into the equalizer and turn bass up there. Whoa! Oh, it's already up there. That's nifty. I didn't know they were correlated. I'm pretty happy with that bass. It's not the most powerful bass I've heard. It's certainly not vibrating the mirrors all that much, not too much mirror shakeage, but it's very crisp and solid, and because they are under the seats, I feel the bass in my seat. It feels like a holistic experience. I know it's not really going to rattle windows outside of the car, but it's nice that for their actual good sounding music, not just cranked all the way up just trying to be obnoxious, but for music you're genuinely listening to, this bass is going to be plenty enough. I like that. Thoughts on the 16-speaker system here in the BMW X5. It's really quite good. It's the type of system that for anyone who is not much of an audiophile, who just wanted decent sounding music in their luxury vehicle, it's excellent for that. It's going to sound good in all sorts of music, talk radio, podcasts, classical, heavy music, anything sounds good. There's a little bit too much hollowness from it for my taste, so what I found myself doing is going into this equalizer, which I appreciate exists, and it would take me a little while to get exactly where I was, but for fear of taking my eyes off the road a little bit too much, it was kind of something like that. Maybe that's a little exaggerated, but yeah, that's exaggerated. It's too much bass now, but pumps up the crispness, takes a little down from the mid-range. I think that sounds a little bit better. Still not quite as good as some of the top level systems, but objectively speaking, I would put the sound quality at about a high 7.5, maybe about an 8. And the system's helped out by how well the infotainment screen works. I love having the touchpad. I am bummed not to see Android Auto. I do know that BMW systems are going to see an update soon for Android Auto, but it's not in this car. Subjectively speaking, for this class of vehicle, I'd be giving it about a 7.5. This one's 83 grand, so I would like to see a little bit better audio quality for that price. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.